I absolutely adore Centrifuse, guys. I love this thing. I want to talk about utilizing it, what it's for. Like it so much, I grinded out the catalyst. I don't take account, so that takes a little bit. The reason I did that is because I wanted it. I'm going to use it. The catalyst is near necessary. Totally necessary, no, but it really elevates it. I'll get into interactions in a moment. I view it as a little mini Cloud Strike, so of course I like it. But it has little bits and pieces of Destiny's history intertwined. Like a lot of people, like, oh, it's just like a worse Zalo Supercell. Like, I mean, Risk Runner is more like Zalo. What this is, it's more like a little mini Cloud Strike with Hereafter. I don't know if you guys remember Hereafter, if you're a vet of Destiny 1, that was a sniper rifle. Landing a headshot with it caused a blinding explosion. And honestly, when you get this thing going right, it has a little power fantasy to it that I absolutely love. So it's a 450 RPM auto rifle. It has that precision frame feel, very stable, very accurate. It packs a punch. It is an exotic. It does get the 40% when it comes to PvE. So base stat wise, kind of mid. It can duel, and it can duel actually really well at base. But the thing is, it's really all about the exotic perks that it has, utilizing those because you need them. It has 47 base range on the stat bar. That is on the very low end. We're going to get into that. But the outlier stats, it has a handling of 82. Very high for this class. Most of the precisions hover around 35 handling. So it's over double than most ARs in this class. It has 10 more aim assists than the other 450s. It's fine. Good stability at 65. Hand laid stock is there, corkscrew, appended mag, but we have the exotic perks. The first trait, regenerative motion. Sprinting gradually reloads this weapon. Intrinsic exotic trait, overcharge capacitor. Sprinting, sliding, firing this weapon builds a temporary electrostatic charge. This increases range and reload speed, so that base 47 range that it has, you need this part of the perk. Because at base it hits at 26 meters, and that charge bar has 5 sections to it. Each section adds a little bit of range, a little bit of reload. So at max charge, it gets to a little over 30 meters, which is a ton better. And the auto rifles have great damage fall off, meaning they're going to hold their damage 2 to 3 meters before they start falling off to the next number. It's not like a hand cannon or other weapons. You need this thing charged up for a number of reasons, and this is one of them. Final blows with a high charge causes explosions. Maximum charge explosions blind targets. So again, tied to the amount of charge that you have. Max charge, you blind, and to get it charged up, you're sprinting, you're firing, keeping it at max charge. When you reload, that charge is gone. You have to do it over again. With those 5 bars, again, there's different tiers to everything, range, reload, and even the explosion. If you're at halfway point on the charge bar, your final blow explosion is going to be okay, but at max charge, the explosion is actually bigger. It is wider. And that explosion's kind of like Dragonfly, kind of like Chain Reaction, that type of explosion. And in the Crucible, we found that you don't need a max charge to blind, just halfway. The explosion deals 76 damage regardless of the charge meter, and it's tied to distance like Dragonfly, Firefly. The further away they are, it has a little fall off. The explosion's pretty good. It can net you collaterals in PvP. It will definitely in PvE, and of course it blinds. And that blind in the Crucible, it's miserable if you get hit by it. PvE, same blinding effect as disorienting grenades, and the whole kit is intertwined with that catalyst. And this is how this thing is supposed to be run. Again, there's a little power fantasy here, and I love it. As you saw in the thumbnail, Cranked. Absolutely juiced, fast, fun gameplay. While amplified, the weapon gradually gains overcharge, and that means a couple things. Without the catalyst, you sprint to max charge. You can stop for a split second, but it's going to start draining. But at that point, when you stop, you're going to be shooting. As you fire, it's keeping that max stack up. Again, the moment that you stop, it all goes back down, or if you reload, it starts way over. You need to sprint again to get back that charge or fire. The catalyst adds a little charge that gradually builds up the meter, meaning once you're at max charge and amplified, you can stop moving. It's going to stay at max charge. You can walk, you can ADS, you can do whatever you need to do. And if you reload, another good thing about being amplified, that gradual recharge is added to your sprint, so you get to max charge a ton quicker while amplified. And in PvE, very easy to keep up amplification. You have the Titan Punch, you have a whole bunch of different ways on Warlock. On the Hunter, there's the amplified melee. You're seeing it with Assassin's Cal at times. So you're at max stack amplified a lot in PvE, and the entire feel of this weapon is just based around being amplified with this catalyst, because your movement speed, weapon handling, greatly increased. After sprinting, your movement speed is further increased, so it's extremely snappy with its high base handling that they put in there. It's instant, it's frames. Knee slide further. Like I said, you're cranked. Of course, the weapon itself, rapidly defeating targets with it on an arc subclass can get you amplified. And with arc, you have all the things like defeating jolted target gives ionic traces. There are a couple ways to bypass the reload because you're going to be shooting. You have to sprint a little bit. I was doing a little bit of sealed Ahamkara grasp with the hunter. So basically any melee final blow or not, it just reloads it. So it's always going to be max charge reloaded. You have spark of momentum sliding over ammo bricks is going to reload the weapon. But then we start taking in spark of resistance while surrounded by combatants. You're resistant to incoming damage. Then we have our artifact of electric armor, stay amplified longer while your arc subclass is equipped. Amped up, gain damage resistance while amplified. And in the final column, I don't have it yet, we're gonna have shock and awe. Arc final blows while you're amplified summons a burst of lightning that damages and jolts targets. So in theory, combined with blinding, that's gonna be really, really good. And you've seen in the gameplay, like once you are running this thing correctly, amplified, max charge, this thing can and will delete groups of enemies. And the ones that it doesn't delete, it's gonna blind them. A lot of the gameplay, I have a disorienting grenade launcher as my primary, but if they're blinded, why not just run a sword? You're gonna have to get your charge back up. If you're amplified, it's gonna be there in no time. We'll see what shock and awe does, but as far as champions, blinding effects, stun unstoppable, jolt effects, stop overload, and then anti-barrier is for auto rifle. We'll see how all that works. And the majority of the gameplay, I just did something really easy. The little Arc Buddy, it is so good. The Arc Buddy helps the TTK instant amplified. As the Arc Buddy's getting tags, it's getting the grenade back, you can loop it. And we look at a clip like this is what it's all about. It's so fun to me. Become amplified, start getting into duels. At one point, I'm out in the open. With the amplified movement, I'm able to get away, get in a corner, out duel. Then there's the melee, then I find a group, start blinding, start doing some collaterals. It's so fun. And to me, that's exactly what it's all about. And hopefully for you too. And with a lot of these, especially this one, like you could miss me with that whole, well, let's see how it does in an 1899 Grandmaster. Like I'm sure you could use this thing in a Grandmaster. Anti-barrier, it has some capabilities. Would you want to? Probably not. And that's fine. But really, there is so much content in this game where this thing can really excel. We have salvage, we have these new activities. This thing is good there. But above all, a joy to use. I do want to see how it does in higher tier content, even solo, a little bit harder lost sectors. If it doesn't do well, that's okay. But everything else, it's great. PvP wise, it's fun right now. It duels exceptionally well. It's got good aim assist, it's got a good sight, the precision frame, very accurate. You do want to be max charge. The range is fine, but when range gets normalized, it should be right in the thick of things. It's got a base 0.8 TTK, that's a good baseline. It beats 140 hand cannons, beats a lot of things, 5 crit, 2 body, got ease of use. And honestly, just watch out for auto rifles when range does get normalized. Like as crazy as that sounds, auto rifles look pretty good. And just like a lot of exotics, this thing has a loop. The loop needs to be done. If you don't pay attention to it, you don't do it, don't run it, because it's gonna completely change how it performs. Go all the way with it. You can use it on any subclass, that's gonna work. Strand, Solar, like honestly, Strand Hunter is decent because the double grapple. And using your grenade reloads the weapon. You can combo that with Tangles, suspend the Strand Kit with the blinding effect. It could work. Don't take any of that off the table, but its design is through arc, being amplified. That's where it's the best. There's other fragments, there's so many, like the one defeating a blinded target with a precision damage, creates a blinding explosion. So in conclusion, there are times for an absolutely perfect loadout, the most effective loadout for an encounter, and of course, you should do that. No one's saying that you shouldn't, but with this one, go have some fun. That's what this game really is all about, and please never forget that. It puts in a lot of work. Get the catalyst, try it out. If you're new here, remember to hit the subscribe button, and if you are subscribed, thank you so much for your support. Let's talk about Centrifuse down below. What do you think about it? Thank you for watching, and until the next one, I am CoolGuy.